continue with that. So here we are. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And we will continue with the format that we've been using the past few weeks. We'll recite the opening prayers, and then we will do the Omahong purification practice. And then we'll take a short break after that. And then we will come back and we will continue the recitation of the King of Aspiration prayers and some explanation where we left off with that. So if there's any questions or comments, we can take a few right now if anybody has anything you'd like to say.
I have one question.
Yes.
Are you reading from a text from your website?
If this is on the website, the 101 prayer book, if this is on the website, then yes. I'm not sure that it is. But that's on there. And I'm not sure whether the King of Samadhi or the King of Aspiration prayers is on there. But I can send it to you PDF, both of these PDF. I can send those to you later on. I'm not going to do it now.
Okay. Sounds good.
Good. Okay. So yeah, everything we do, we try and back up with, some kind of text. So the main book that we use, everything kind of comes from this book called The Jewel Ornamental Liberation. So this is what's called a lamb rim text, and this is the stages of the path, is what the lamb rim means. So if you want to know about Buddhahood and liberation and enlightenment, this is the book to follow. Very complete. All right, so then let's start with the opening prayers. So I'll recite these today. So what we do these twice in English and then once in Tibetan. So
and John, I just put a PDF of it's got most of the ones we do right here in the beginning in it. I don't know if it's got all of them, but if you wanted to check that. Sorry, Lance.
Oh, very good. Okay.
Thanks so much.
If you got a chance to do that, you can. All right, so we begin with the altruistic motivation. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. May they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly I will establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. May they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly I will establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. Dagla dangwa jepe dra no pa jepe geg. Par pa dang tam sheken pe bar du jo par je pa tam sheki so jepe. Manam kadam yam pe sem chen tam she de wa dang den. Dug now dang drel nor du la na me pa yang dag pa zog pe zhang zhu brin po she to pa ja. The action bodhicitta prayer. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. De she du sang ma ge gi bar du lu na gi sam ge wa la ko. Ma she bar du lu na gi sam ge wa la ko. Du de ring ne song te ni ma sang ta sam gi ba du lu na gi sam ge wa la ko. The long refuge prayer. We take refuge in the kind root and lineage lamas. We take refuge in the deities of the mandalas of the yidams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. We take refuge in the kind root and lineage lamas. We take refuge in the deities of the mandalas of the yidams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Transcend Sawa Dangur Parje Pe Palden Lama Dampa Namla Kapsu Chio Yedam Kilgor Gila Sok Namla Kapsu Chio Sange Chom Dende Namla Kapsu Chio Dampe cho nam la kapsu chio. Pape ge du nam la kapsu chio. Pawo ka jo cho kyung song me song yeshe gi chang dang dem pa nam la kapsu chio. Taking the Bodhisattva vow. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma, and likewise in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma, and likewise in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. Shangju Ming Po Chi Ki Ba Sangye Nam La Kyab Su Chi Chodang Shang Shub Sampa Yi So Klang De Shin Kyab Su Chi Jitar Nongi De Shegi Shang Shu Tuk Ni Ke Pa Dan Shang Shu Sampe La Pa La De Da Grim Shin E Pa Ta De Shin Dro La Pandan Du Shang Shu Sam Ni Ke Gi Shing De Shin Du Ni La Pa La Rempa Shindu La Pa Ji O. The short refuge prayer. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Sangye Chodang Soki Chodam La Shangshu Badu Dagni Kapsuchi Dagi Jinsoki Pe Sonamgi Jola Penshir Sange Jupasho. The Four Immeasurables. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Manam kadam yam pesam chantam shede wadang dewe gurdang dempoy jurchi. Dugnal dang dunal gi gudang drawar jurchi. Dugnal me pe de wadang midra war jurchi. May ring jak dang ni dang drawe tang namla ne pa jurchi. This is the 100-syllable purification mantra of Vajrasattva. So we recite this once in English and then 3 times in the Sanskrit. Om Vajrasattva Samaya, help to protect my vow to purify myself. May you remain firm with me. Grant me the complete satisfaction. Grow with me. Be loving towards me. Grant me the complete satisfaction. Grow with me. Be loving towards me. Grant me the attainments to master the powers beyond body and nature. Show me all the deeds of body, speech, and mind. Make my mind-heart good, virtuous, and auspicious. Revel in the bliss of the 4 joys, O Blessed One, who embodies the essence within me. Do not abandon me. Grant me the realizations of the indestructible nature. Make me one with you. Thus I signify my unity with non-duality. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Dristadredo Me Bhava Sruto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anuraktu Me Bhava Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara karma sitsa me sitsan shriya kuru hong. Ha 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 ho Bhagavan. Sara tada gata bajra mame munsa bajri bhava maha samaya sattvaha. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Dristadredo Me Bhava Sruto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anuraktu Me Bhava Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sitsa Me Sitsan Shriya Kuru Hong. Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sara tada gata bajra mame munsa bajri bhava maha samaya sattvaha. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Dristadredo Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anuraktu Me Bhava Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsa Me Sitsan Triya Kuru Hong. Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Saratata Gata Bajra Mame Mansa Bajri Bhava Mahasamaya Sattva And then the Sagarimati requested sutra on page 12. Likewise, be extinguished. Extinguish all enemies to my purpose. Whatever evil forces are in me, be defeated. Do this so that when I am victorious, all pure radiance melts into me, completely purified. Take all this knowledge, food, and drink peacefully, enjoy it, and be satisfied so that all obstacles may be destroyed. Be liberated from all obstacles, all general obstacles. Maras are defeated by this gesture of the Buddha. By reciting this mantra, may all the Maras be purified. As a result, may all the Maras be defeated. Thank you very much. That concludes the opening prayers for today. Any comments or questions? So just to reiterate one point, major point, the opening prayers are recited each time that we do a session, each time that we do practice, each time we study, whether we're by ourselves or with a group. And what it's doing is helping to stabilize our motivation, that our intention is to be able to seek liberation, to seek enlightenment for ourselves and for all other sentient beings. So we have all kinds of noise that's going around inside of our head, our body, and so on. So when we sit down to do these practices or receive teachings, we need to be able to stabilize. We need to collect ourselves back to develop the one-pointed mindfulness of the practice of the teaching. So that's why we always recite the opening prayers, to help us to do that. Everything that we do basically is developing mindfulness, awareness of our spirituality, our intellectual mind, our physical body, takes up so much energy, takes up so much of our time, but we need to devote time, we need to devote energy to our spiritual body, to our spiritual practice. So this, again, is a means, a way of being able to stabilize that mindfulness. So this particular practice, the purification practice, we visualize that, that we have these three chakras. We have the chakra at our forehead, or the crown of our head, really. The crown of our head, the forehead, the throat, and the heart center. So the chakra at the crown of the head, or the forehead, is symbolizes the body, is the body energy, the physical energy. At the throat is the speech, the intellectual energy. The speech is the action, the activity of the intellect coming out. Before we can speak, we have to have thoughts that we're trying to express through our speech. So the speech is the agent of the intellect. So we talk about that as a chakra. And then the next one would be the heart center. And the heart center is the spiritual mind, the spiritual body that resides in our heart center. So we talk about, this is the big mind, and this is the little mind. So the little mind has all these confusions, all these fabrications, and so on, and it blocks up, it covers up the truth, if you will, of the mind body, of the heart body. So we need to remove all those blockages, all those intellectualizations and everything that are blocking up the true nature that we have within ourselves, the spiritual mind, the spiritual body. So we speak about that. So these are the three chakras, or the three holy places within our body, the three spheres. There's many ways to express this. So we use a Tibetan term, a Sanskrit term. The Om represents the body. The Ah represents the speech, the throat. And the Hung, Hung, represents the heart center. So the Hung, Hung, is the way that Tibetans pronounce the word hum, Hum, hum. So the hum is another way of saying this heart center, but in Tibetan they say it as hung. So not to be confused, you see that it's the same thing. So what we do is we visualize that each of these three chakras, that emanating from these syllables that I just mentioned, the Om, Ah, Hung, is a colored light that is coming from each of these centers. And this light is in the form of a flame, of a fire that is purifying, that is burning away all the negativity, first of the physical body, then of the intellectual mind, the speech, and then of the mind, the big mind, to clear away all the negativities that are clouding up, that are preventing the natural true nature to come forth. So it's purifying those last vestiges of confusion that might surround our true nature. The true nature is unstainable. It can't be stained. It can't be defeated. It can't be. Excuse me. I'm having a moment. It's indestructible true nature that we have within ourselves. So we often use the analogy that it's like a vibration that is going through us. You know, we hear vibration, we hear sound, and so on. So we can use that as an idea of what this vibration is, that all beings, that everything is all tuned into. So what we're trying to do is to harmonize with that, rather than being discordant with that and adding our ego to it, adding, what we think it should be, adding our confusion to it. We're trying to purify ourselves so that what we're doing, we're just harmonizing with that true nature. And if anything, we're kind of amplifying it. We're part of the making it more stable, more strong. So as we are doing these practices, this is a goal, that we are visualizing this vibration, this harmony. So we begin with the practice. So in our prayer book, in this particular prayer book, this prayer is written down for us, and I'll recite it. So you can relax. If you can sit in the meditation position, the proper meditation position, which we say is this is the 7-point posture of Varanchana. Varanchana is one of the great Buddhas. So he is sitting with his legs crossed. So we cross our legs. So whether we're sitting on a cushion on the floor, we cross our legs. If we're sitting on a chair, we can cross our legs. We can cross at our ankles. If it's more comfortable for you to have both your feet flat on the floor, that's perfectly fine too. Whatever makes you comfortable, but it should be a good balanced position. If at any time you need to move about because you feel like you're getting a cramp or your leg is falling asleep or something like that, do whatever you need to do to remain comfortable. So we don't want anybody to have any kind of pain or discomfort in that way. The most important thing is to keep your back straight. So whatever you're doing, try and do that. So that's the next position, is to keep our back straight, that we're sitting with our back straight. And as we're doing that, we're visualizing that there's a center channel that runs through our body, that begins down 4 inches below the navel and runs parallel to the spine and goes straight up through the crown to the crown of the head. And at the crown of the head, there's an opening, there's an aperture. It's called the aperture of Brahma. So it's this center channel that our life energy that we have since we've been conceived is running up and down through this, and then it intersects with the different chakras and so on, and then the chakras intersect with all the different channels and so on. So but our main attention right now is with the center channel and with these three chakras, the crown chakra, the throat chakra, and the heart chakra. So our back is straight. We don't want to impede the movement of this life force that we have with us, our primal energy. We don't want to, hunch over or something like that to cause it that it won't flow properly. So the next thing is that our hands are in the classic meditation position, where our left hand is up like this and the right hand is lying in the left hand and the two thumbs are touching. And this is 4 inches or so below our navel, at our navel area. And we then, with our next position, we pull our shoulders back. They're relaxed. They're not up here like that, but they're relaxed, but we pull them back. And as we do that, it very naturally pulls our hands right into our abdomen, where it's comfortable, and we're maintaining the meditation position. So then the next thing is that our head, our face, our neck is all just a little bit forward. So if we bring our head down, bring our face down, and bring our chin just a little bit in towards our chest area, that's the position we're looking for. It's a relaxed position, and we can think of it as a great steed, a great horse. So whether it's a mare or whether it's a stallion, it represents speed, it represents efficiency. So we visualize our head in that position. We bring our head in that position. The next thing is that we keep our eyes open or closed. If they're open, that there's just a gaze down in the direction of our nose, looking out, 3 or 4 or 5 feet in front of ourselves, not looking at anything special, not looking as a stare. It's just a gaze, a gentle gaze, something that you're not analyzing, you're not focused on. It's just a gaze. In the beginning, it's better to keep your eyes closed, and so that you don't have the distractions of the things around you and so on. But as your meditation, as your practice begins to stabilize, you can open your eyes, and that's fine, and then you can adopt the gaze during this time if you prefer to do that. If you want to go back to closing your eyes, you can do that, is fine, but it should be very fluid, very easy. You're not thinking about it too much at all. And then the last of the 7-point posture of Varanchana is that our tongue is on the roof of our mouth, right behind our front teeth. And this keeps our mouth moist. We generally are breathing in through both nostrils, and it comes down to our navel. And then it comes back up, and it can go back out through the same 2 channels that goes to our nostrils. So we're breathing in with our nostrils, and we're exhaling with our nostrils. Sometimes you might want to exhale through your mouth, and that's fine. So you keep your mouth just maybe a little bit open if that's the way that you prefer, whatever's natural. But if you're doing that, breathing through your mouth, and you haven't secured your tongue on the roof of your mouth will begin to dry out from the air moving back and forth. But if you keep the tongue on the roof of the mouth, it will keep your saliva moving about inside your mouth. It will keep your mouth moist. So when we do breathe in through both nostrils, we're expanding the belly. We are bringing the air all the way down to our navel. We're not breathing at the chest. We're not shallow breathing. We are breathing deeply all the way down into our lungs. So as we take a breath, we are expanding the belly. We're moving, allowing our belly to move out, our abdomen to move out. And as we do this, you say, it pulls down the diaphragm. And the diaphragm is the muscle that is attached to the bottom of the lungs, which is opening and closing the lungs. So when we breathe in, expand our belly, it pulls down the diaphragm, which pulls down, open the lungs, and then pulls that fresh air all the way deeply into our lungs, is what we're trying to achieve. And then we hold that breath. So our belly is a little bit extended, and we're just holding that. No breathing. And then after a moment or two, we exhale by contracting the belly now, pushing against the diaphragm, which pushes against the lungs and forces all that stale, negative, dark air out. And we hold that empty, vacant breath for a moment or two. So, or if we're breathing through our mouth, either one is okay. But if you can do it through your nostrils, this is the way that we begin to do this. This is the proper way to begin to do this. So we breathe in again through both nostrils, expand the belly, hold the breath, keeping the back straight. Exhale by squeezing the abdomen, forcing all that stale, negative, dark air out and holding that empty, vacant breath. And one more time, we breathe in fresh, clean, pure air coming into both lungs. Holding it. And then exhale. Squeeze that stale, negative, dark air out and hold that vacant breath. So we continue that process as part of a practice that we will do at some point, but we can do it today, whatever you're comfortable with. So I will give you instructions as we move along. So now we begin the actual practice. So I will recite the practice to you. So first we visualize a white Om, O-M, at your forehead, a red Ah at the throat, A-H, and a blue Hung, H-U-N-G, at the heart. And we'll recite the mantra, Om Ah Hung. So, as the first mala round, so we're using our beads to count the recitations to make sure that we do the proper recitations. So as the first mala round is recited, a white fire emanates from the Om at the forehead. A single white flame or a white fire, whichever you prefer, whichever easier for you. A white Om, the fire, the flame from the white Om burns away all the physical obscurations, all the blockages, all the sickness, all the negative karma and bodily obscurations are consumed by this wisdom fire of the white Om coming from the forehead. So this is the visualization as we recite the mantra. Om Ahom, excuse me, Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. So that's a 9-round recitation of Om Ahom. And so you can count those recitations. You can use your beads to count them. But we'll do that 9 times. No, we'll do it more than that. Anyway, we'll do a whole mile around. And so we repeat this. So if the melody doesn't come easy to you in the beginning, it will after a period of time. That we'll be able to do this many times, so it will become easier for you. If you prefer just to go Om Ah Hong, Om Ah Hong, Om Ah Hong, as we're doing the melody, that's perfectly fine. So now we continue. Om Ah Hong, 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 Om Ah Hong. Om Ah Hong, 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 Om Ah Hong. Om Ah Hong, 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 Om Ah Hong. Om Ah Hong, 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 Om Ah Hong. Om Ah Hong, 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 Om Ah Hong. Om Ah Hong, 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 Om Ah Hong. Om Ah Hong, 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 Om Ah Hong. Om Ah Hong, 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 Om Ah Hong. Om Ah Hong, 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 Om Ah Hong. Om Ah Hong, Om Ah Hong, Om Om Ahum, Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum. Take a deep breath and hold it. Keep your back straight, your shoulders pulled back. Stay in a relaxed position. Exhale. Hold the empty breath. Relax and breathe normal now. And during the second recitation of the Mala round, you visualize a white fire emanating from the red Ah at the throat, burning away all the obscurations, all the blockages, all the negative karma that was made through our speech being purified, our intellectualization being purified through this red fire coming from the Ah at our throat chakra. And we continue the recitation of the mantra. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum. Take a deep breath and hold it. Expand your belly, hold the breath. Exhale. Hold the breath. Check your body position. Relax and breathe normal. And remember that while we're doing this chanting, that I'm not the only one doing it, that everyone is doing it together and full-throated with as much force, with as much power as you have. Not to worry that anyone thinks that your voice is not a good singing voice or anything like that. Right now, and you're in your own home, and probably nobody can hear you. But even if we were all together, and we need to visualize that we are all together so that we are harmonizing our voices. But more than that, as we do this powerfully, we're setting up a vibration in our body. If you can feel that vibration in your body, that's like aligning yourself. Now we have something that we can align ourselves with, that vibration that runs through us all, feeling that vibration in our body. And then when we stop, when we finish the mile around, our body is still vibrating. We can still feel that vibration with us. connecting not only to each other that we have been reciting this here now, but also to all the other people who are all around the world who are chanting different mantras, doing different practices, that we are all connected with them, all simultaneously, invisibly, but very stably are we connected with all those beings. And then all beings that are outside of this universe that travel in ways that we don't know, but we are connected to this vibration. So now we continue with the third mala round, and we visualize a blue fire emanates from the blue hung at the heart and envelops the entire body. All the negative karma and obscurations of the mind are consumed and burned away. So we visualize, please take your hands, bring them to your heart like I am doing, and then take that and then bring that up over your head, bring your hands together as if this is the shape of a fire, of a single flame, a blue flame that is burning away all the negative karma, all the blockages, all the confusion that is caused, that is blocking up our heart center. Our true nature is purified with this blue flame. So now we continue with the mantra. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom, 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 Om Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum. Take a deep breath and hold it. Exhale. Hold the empty breath. Stay relaxed and breathe normal now. So now during the fourth round, we have purified our body, speech, and mind. And now we visualize that during this fourth mallow round, the three colored lights, the white light, the red light, and the blue light, all together the three syllables, Om Ahum, radiate in all directions, filling up our room. Om Ahum, red, white, red, blue, the vibrations of those syllables filling up our room, and move out and fill up our house, and then move up and fill up our neighborhood, and then move out and fill up our whole community, and then fill up the whole eastern United States, wherever we might be, and then the rest of the United States, and then moving north to Canada, moving south to Mexico, move up to the Arctic, moving down to South America, filling up the whole Western hemisphere, and moving across the oceans and visualizing all the oceans, and then over to Europe, and and over to Asia, and then down to Australia and to India and to Antarctica, to all these places, purifying the body, speech, and mind of all beings in those areas. So the power of this purification reaching out to all beings. We continue the mantra. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum. Take a deep breath and hold it. Exhale and hold it. Stay relaxed. Check your body position. Breathe normal. And now for the dissolution. So we recite one more time the mantra, and we visualize the white Om at the forehead dissolves into the red Ah at the throat. And the red Ah at the throat dissolves into the blue Hung at the heart. And then the blue Hung rises up from the bottom, rising up to the top. Just visualize the word Hung rising up. And there's a flame at the top of the Hung, just a single flame. And the flame is just flickering just a little bit and dissolving into the emptiness, into the shunyata. So we continue to visualize this dissolution, the white Om fire into the red Ah fire into the blue Hung fire at the heart, and then the Hung dissolving into the flame, dissolving into the emptiness. Your mind wanders, just bring it back to that visualization. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Ahong, Om Ahong, Om Ahong. Om Ahong, 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 Om Ahong. Om Ahong, 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 Om Ahong. Om Ahong, 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 Om Ahong. Om Ahong, 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 Om Ahong. Om Ahong, 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 Om Ahong. Om Ahong, 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 Om Ahong. Om Ahong, 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 Om Ahong. Om Ahong. Take a deep breath and hold it. Exhale and hold it. Stay relaxed. Stay in the meditation position. Now we just rest the mind without investigation or discrimination. Just be aware. Keeping your eyes closed or open in just a gaze. Breathing naturally. Then let yourself just catch a glimpse of the nature of mind and meditate naturally in that state. Free, peaceful, quiet. Do a 15-minute meditation. Mind wanders, just bring it back to the dissolution of the three lights, the three syllables, dissolving one into another, and dissolving into the emptiness, into the shunyata, into the space. Peaceful, natural, calm. Take a deep breath and hold it. Exhale and hold it. Open your eyes. We'll take a break now and maintain your quietude as best you can during the break. Do everything you need to do. We'll come back at, what time is it? We'll come back at 11 o'clock. Take a 20-minute break or so.
Lance, are we working on the final portions of King of Aspirations?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So when we come back, we will continue with the King of Aspiration prayer. So everybody, welcome back. Thank you very much for coming. And I just want to ask John in particular, what do you think of that practice?
I really enjoyed it. From my personal experience with meditation, I actually don't do anything too different from that. So I had a really powerful experience. And it just felt really good to return to tranquility.
Well, good. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for guiding it.
Oh, well, you're welcome. Thank you. Would anybody else like to make a comment about the Omahung practice that we just did? Okay.
I tried to count it with my beads, but I got lost. I couldn't keep up or something. I don't know what happened.
Well, that's why it's called practice, and we keep getting to do it over and over again until we get better at it.
I had a fumble thumb.
All right, very good.
Okay.
All right, so now we're going to recite the King of Aspiration prayers. So we'll recite the whole thing because it's important to get our mindfulness together. And what we do on Sundays, just to remind everybody, is our practice day. So what we're trying to establish is the benefit of doing these practices over and over again. They create stability. To repeat these things over and over again, they create stability. So we're developing one-pointed mindfulness. So so that's why we do the things that we do. So we're trying to establish a stream of consciousness. So before we even begin talking about the King of Aspiration prayers, we want to read it. We want to establish that stream of consciousness in our minds. So that's why we do these things. So again, John, when I see you, I'll be more than glad to give you a copy of this. Or I can email it to you. You can print it, whatever you like to do. Okay.
I Googled King of Aspiration prayers, and I think I have.
Well, this is the one that's good. This is the one by the Lotsawa House, the Rigpa translation from 1996.
That's exactly what I have.
Oh, well, very good.
Thank you.
What's the title of it? Did you have it online or something right now?
Yep. The King of Aspiration prayers from the Lotsawahouse.org. It's Samantabhadra's Aspiration to Good Actions.
Very good. Well, you have the same one that we have then. All right, good. Can you, what we do is we take turns reciting this. What we do, so we have it in a printed form, so the pages. So if you will be so kind as to recite part of this with us, that would be great. So what I'll do is, let's see, let's have John begin. So recite the title and down to the offering section here. So I'll point that out. I'll tell you when to stop. And then let me see. The second would be Okay. Mark, would you be the second reader, please? So you do page 2.
I'm happy to. Is John going to the stanza that begins, "To every Buddha I make offerings, exquisite garments"?
Yeah, that's where he'll stop. He'll
Oh.
read that.
Okay, and then I'll go on page 2.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then page 3, Matt, will you do page 3 or the section page 3, please? And then after that, Zara. And then after that, I will read. So I'll be, there's 5 of us today. All right. So John, when you're ready, please begin reading. And then we keep this order. And then, so we get until we finish the whole thing. Okay?
Okay. So the first part that I read is prostration.
But start with the title.
Okay. I apologize if what I'm looking at is a little different than everyone else's.
I think it's the same.
You want me to read the English, not the Tibetan?
Just the English.
King of Aspiration Prayers, Samantabhadra's Aspiration to Good Actions. Read the translator's homage.
Yes.
Okay. Homage to Manjushri, the youthful. The 7 preliminaries for purifying the mind. Prostration. Buddhas, the lions of the human race, in all directions of the universe, through past and present and future. Single one of you, I bow in homage. Devotion fills my body, speech, and mind. Of this prayer, aspiring to good action, all the victorious ones appear, vivid here before my mind. Apply my body as many times as atoms in the universe, each one bowing in prostration to all the Buddhas. Keep reading.
Yes, please.
Okay. In every atom preside as many Buddhas as there are atoms, and around them all their bodhisattva hairs. I imagine them filling completely the entire space of reality, and with an endless ocean of praise, sounds of an ocean of different melodies, all the Buddha's noble qualities, and praise all those who have gone to perfect bliss. Buddha, I make offerings of the loveliest flowers, of beautiful garlands, of music and perfumed ointments, parasols, the brightest lamps and finest incense. Buddha, I make offerings, exquisite garments and the most fragrant scents heaped as high as Mount Meru, in perfect symmetry.
All right, thank you. That's where the next page ends.
Then the vast unsurpassable offerings, inspired by my devotion to all the Buddhas and moved by the power in my faith in good actions, I prostrate and offer to all you victorious ones. Confession. Whatever negative acts I have committed, while driven by desire, hatred, and ignorance, with my body, my speech, and also with my mind, before you I confess and purify each and every one. Rejoicing. With a heart full of delight, I rejoice in all the merits of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Prayatka Buddhas, and those in training, and the Arhats beyond training, and every living being throughout the entire universe. Imploring the Buddhas to turn the wheel of Dharma. You who are like beacons of light shining through the worlds, who passed through the stages of enlightenment to attain Buddhahood, freedom from all, I exhort you, all of you protectors, turn the unsurpassable wheel of Dharma, requesting the Buddhas not to enter nirvana. Joining my palms together, I pray to you who intend to pass into nirvana, remain for eons, as many as the atoms in the world, and bring well-being and happiness to all beings. Dedication. What little virtue I have gathered through my homage, through offering confession and rejoicing, through exhortation and prayer, All of it I dedicate to the enlightenment of all beings.
Let offerings be made to Buddhas of the past and all who now dwell throughout the 10 directions of this universe. Let all who are yet to come swiftly fulfill their wishes and attain the stages of enlightenment to Buddhahood. Let as many worlds as there are in all the 10 directions transform into realms that are vast and utterly pure, filled with Buddhas who have sat before the mighty Bodhi tree, around them all their Bodhisattva sons and daughters. Let as many sentient beings as there are in all the 10 directions live always and forever in happiness and health. Let all beings meet the Dharma that benefits them best, and so may all they hope for be fulfilled. As I practice the training for enlightenment, may I recall all my previous births, and in successive lives through death and rebirth, may I always renounce the worldly life. Training in the footsteps of all the victorious Buddhas, may I bring good actions to perfection, and my moral conduct be taintless and pure, never lapsing and always free from fault. In the language of the gods, nagas, and yaksas, in the language of demons and of humans too, and however many kinds of speech there may be, I shall proclaim the Dharma in the language of all. Taming my mind and striving in the paramitas, I will never forget the bodhicitta. May all my harmful actions and the obscurations they cause be completely purified, every single one.
Aspiration to be free from defilements. May I be freed from karma, harmful emotions, and the work of negativity, and act for all beings in the world, just like the lotus flower to which mud and water cannot cling, or sun and moon that course unhindered through the sky. Aspiration to lead beings to happiness. Throughout the reach and range of the entire universe, I shall pacify completely the suffering of all the lower realms. I shall lead to all beings to happiness and work for the ultimate benefit of each and every one. Aspiration to wear the armor of dedication. I shall bring enlightened action to perfection, serve beings as to suit their needs, teach them to accomplish good actions, and continue this throughout all eons to come. Aspiration to accompany other bodhisattva. May I always meet and be accompanied by those whose actions accord with mine, and in body, speech, and mind as well. May our actions and aspirations always be one. Aspiration to have virtuous teachers and to please them. May I always meet spiritual friends who long to be of true help to me and who teach me the good actions. Never will I disappoint them. Aspiration to see the Buddhas and serve them in person. May I always behold the Buddhas here before my eyes and around them all their Bodhisattva sons and daughters without ever tiring. Throughout all the eons to come, may the offerings I make them be endless and vast. Aspiration to keep the Dharma thriving. May I maintain the sacred teachings of the Buddhas and cause enlightened action to appear. May I train to perfection in good actions and practice these in each and every age to come.
As I wander through all states of samsaric existence, may I gather inexhaustible merit and wisdom, and so become an inexhaustible treasury of noble qualities, of skill and discernment, samadhi and liberation. In a single atom, may I see as many pure realms as atoms in the universe, and in each realm, Buddhas beyond all imagining, encircled by all their bodhisattva heirs. Along with them, may I perform the actions of enlightenment. And so, in every direction, everywhere, even on the tip of a hair, may I see an ocean of Buddhas, all to come and past, present, and future, and in an ocean of pure realms, and throughout an ocean of eons, may I enter into enlightened action in each and every one. Each single word of a Buddha's speech, that voice with its ocean of qualities, bears all the purity of the speech of all the Buddhas, sounds that harmonize with the minds of all living beings. May I always be engaged with the speech of the Buddhas. With all the power of my mind, may I hear and realize the inexhaustible melody of the teachings, spoken by all the Buddhas of past, present, and future, as they turn the wheels of Dharma. Just as the wisdom of the Buddhas penetrates all future eons, so may I too know them instantly, and in each fraction of an instant, may I know all that will ever be in past, present, and future. John?
Buddhas in one instant. In an instant may I behold all those who are the lions of the human race, the past, present, and future. Sphere of activity of the Buddhas. Always be engaged in the Buddha's way of life and action through the power of liberation, where all is realized is like an illusion. Adam, may I actually bring about the entire array of pure realms of past, of present, and future. Enter in those pure Buddha realms, in each atom and in each and every direction. Illuminate the world still to come, gradually attain Buddhahood, turn the wheel of Dharma, and demonstrate the final profound peace of Nirvana. Please be in their presence. To the power of enlightenment through 9 powers. Power of swift miracles, the power of the vehicle, like a doorway, the power of conduct that possesses all virtuous qualities, the power of loving kindness, all pervasive, the power of merit that is totally virtuous, the power of wisdom free from attachment, and the powers of knowledge, skillful means in samadhi. May I perfectly accomplish the power of enlightenment. To the antidotes that pacify the obscurations. May I purify the power of karma, destroy the power of harmful emotions, render negativity utterly powerless, and perfect the power of good actions.
Okay, thank you. Next is Mark, I think.
Aspirations to enlightened activities. I shall purify oceans of realms, liberate oceans of sentient beings, understand oceans of Dharma, and realize oceans of wisdom. Perfect oceans of action, fulfill oceans of aspirations, serve oceans of Buddhas, and perform these without ever growing weary through the oceans of eons. Aspirations for training, to emulate the Buddhas. All the Buddhas throughout the whole of time attained enlightenment through good actions, and their prayers and aspirations for enlightened action, may I fulfill them all completely. To emulate the Bodhisattvas, Samantabhadra. The eldest of the sons of all the Buddhas is called Samantabhadra, all good. So that I may act with a skill like his, I dedicate fully all these merits. To purify my body, my speech, and my mind as well, to purify my actions and all the realms, may I be the equal of Samantabhadra in his skill and good dedication. Manjushri. In order to perform the full virtue of good actions, I shall act according to Manjushri's prayers and aspiration, and without ever growing weary in all the eons to come, I shall perfectly fulfill every one of his aims.
Let my bodhisattva acts be beyond measure. Let my enlightened qualities be measureless too. Keeping this immeasurable activity, may I accomplish all the miraculous powers of enlightenment. Sentient beings are as limitless as the boundless expanse of space. So shall my prayers of aspiration for them be as limitless as their karma and harmful emotions. The benefits of making aspirations. Whoever hears this king of dedication prayers and yearns for supreme enlightenment, who even once arouses faith, will gain true merit greater still than by offering the victorious Buddha's infinite pure realms in every direction, all ornamented with jewels, or offering them all the highest joys of gods and humans, for as many eons as there are atoms in those realms. Whoever truly makes this aspiration to good actions will never again be reborn in lower realms. They will be free from harmful companions, and soon behold the Buddha of boundless light. They will acquire all kinds of benefits and live in happiness. Even in this present life, all will go well, and before long they will become just like Samantabhadra. All negative acts, even the 5 of immediate retribution, whatever they have committed in the grip of ignorance, will soon be completely purified if they recite this aspiration of good actions.
They will possess perfect wisdom, beauty, and excellent signs, be born in a good family, and with radiant appearance. Demons and heretics will never harm them, and all 3 worlds will honor them with offerings. They will quickly go beneath the Bodhi tree And there they will sit to benefit all sentient beings, then awaken into enlightenment, turn the wheel of Dharma, and tame Mara with all his hordes. The benefit in brief, the full result of keeping, teaching, or reading this prayer of aspirations of good actions is known to be to the Buddhas alone. Have no doubt, supreme enlightenment will be yours. Dedication of the merits of this meritorious aspiration. Dedication that follows the Bodhisattva. Just as the Bodhisattva Manjushri attained omniscience in Samantabhadra, all these merits now I dedicate to train and follow in their footsteps. Dedication that follows the Buddhas, as all the victorious Buddhas, past, present, and future, praise dedication as supreme. So now I dedicate all these fruits of virtue for all beings to perfect good actions. Dedication toward actualizing the result. When it is time for me to die, let all that obscures me fade away, so I look at Amitabha there in person and go at once to the Pure Land of Sakavate. In that Pure Land, may I actualize every single one of all of these aspirations. May I fulfill them, each and every one, and bring help to beings for as long as the universe remains.
Born, born there in a beautiful lotus flower, in that excellent and joyous Buddha realm, may the Buddha Amitabha himself grant me the prophecy foretelling my enlightenment. Having received the prophecy there, with my billions of emanations sent out through the power of my mind, may I bring enormous benefit to sentient beings in all the 10 directions. Through whatever small virtues I have gained by reciting this aspiration of good actions, may the virtuous wishes of all beings, prayers, and aspirations all be instantly accomplished. Through the true and boundless merit attained by dedicating this aspiration of good actions, may all those now drowning in the ocean of suffering reach the supreme realm of Amitabha. May this king of aspirations bring about the supreme aim and benefit of all infinite sentient beings. May they perfect what is described in this holy prayer uttered by Samantabhadra. May the lower realms be entirely emptied. By the blessings of the Buddhas who attained the 3 kayas and the unchanging truth of reality, all well as the unwavering aspiration of the Sangha, may all the aspirations and dedication prayers be fulfilled. From the Rigpa translation of the Lotsawa House, 1996. Thank you very much for reciting this. Does anybody have any comments you'd like to make before we start talking about the meaning where we left off?
I love this thing.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah. Lance, the more the repetition, like I feel like if I had to pick one thing to read every day, it would be this one. It would be this. Yeah. It's very, all aspects of it are covered. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So generally what this is saying, is that we have Buddha nature within ourselves. We all are Buddha. We all have potential to be Buddha. To whatever degree we can achieve that. And as we are achieving that, we are on the path to become Buddha, and that's called the Bodhisattva path. So the Bodhisattvas are there to guide us, to help us, to be our exemplars of what it is to perfect ourselves as human beings. That all this is the human experience. To be a Buddha is to be a completely realized human being. Buddha is not something that is extraterrestrial or in some heaven or something like that. Buddha is within ourselves. The word Buddha means awakened one, awakened to what all this reality, what we call reality is, and to understand that all this is the manifestation of our own mind. We've created this reality. Your reality is different from each other, which is different from mine. We have different experiences and so on. But ultimately, we see that within this is our absolute nature, this vibration that I talked about before that is running through us. And the word vibration and what that means to us is only a concept that we can say it's like this, but it's something beyond that. So it can only be experienced, and experienced through what we call the meditation process and so on. So this is what we are learning to stabilize. And that stabilization is that mind, that quality is called the samadhi. To be in the samadhi all the time, to be in that state where we can do many different things, but at the same time we haven't lost that absolute true nature that we have within ourselves. It's stable within ourselves all the time. So this is where we are now. We're on page 9, or the last part, the dedication of the merits of this meritorious aspiration, the dedication of the merits of this meritorious aspiration. So what this means is that as we are developing this purification, as we are going through the stages of being a bodhisattva, and a bodhisattva literally means a wholly enlightened being. Bodhi means enlightenment. Bodhi is a being, and sat. Bodhi is enlightenment. Sat is a being, and sattva is a holy being. So it's a wholly enlightened being. So we're going through those stages, and as we do that, we're accumulating merit. We're accumulating good vibes that, that are like being put into a storage place for ourselves that are there to support us when we need those merits and so on. And what we are doing as bodhisattvas, we are dedicating those merits to other beings through this meritorious aspiration, this good deeds that we are doing. The merits that come out of that is for the benefit of others. It's not selfishly for ourselves, it's for others. So this dedication, it says, number 1, the dedication that follows the bodhisattvas. So it says, just as the bodhisattva Manjushri attained omniscience, and Samantabhadra too, all these merits now I dedicate to train and follow in their footsteps. So the bodhisattva Manjushri is the youthful bodhisattva who is like soaking up all this knowledge, who becomes the embodiment of all this phenomenal knowledge, this knowledge of stuff that we see and everything is all within the bodhisattva Manjushri. But in addition to that is the absolute nature, is the knowledge, is the wisdom of the absolute that is beyond this phenomenal nature. It is the experience of having attained that absolute nature. And that's what Manjushri represents, the attained omniscience. Omniscience means all-knowing. Omni means all, science means knowing. So he is the bodhisattva, the victor of this all-knowing. It carries that. So we are using Manjushri as an example that this is possible and this is what we need to do. And Samantabhadra is the bodhisattva of devotion, to be devoted to this process, to be devoted to this, to do the repetition, to do this over and over, and to take the merits and dedicate the merits to all beings, to have devotion to that, to the structure, to this process, to keep doing that. That we're mindful of this, we're aware of this. So we praise dedication as supreme. This is the best thing that we do when we go through the stages of meditation and we get to the meditation itself and we have that meditative experience of pure bliss, of pure omniscience and so on, that we're taking that and we dedicate that experience we dedicate the results of that experience, we dedicate that to the enlightenment of all other beings. We're giving it to them. It's just passing right through us. We become the amplifier of that. We become the provider of that. We become the example of that for other beings. We become the bodhisattva who is representing that, symbolic of that, because we praise that dedication as the supreme thing that we can do. Once we attain enlightenment, what do we do with it? We just don't go around saying, oh, I'm enlightened. We show others how to do it. We dedicate it to other beings and so on. That's the best thing that we can do. That's what it is to be a complete human being. That is the expression of what it is to be Buddha. Buddha is radiating this merit, radiating this wisdom, radiating this experience for all beings with no sense of it coming back, no need for it to come back. The Buddha is not waiting for that. It is just exuding this wisdom, this power, this love, this compassion, exudes it all the time, like the sun just shines, 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 providing us with life, with energy, with light and heat and so on. So then the next line says, all these merits now I dedicate to train and follow in their footsteps. So what that means is that we are using the bodhisattvas like Manjushri and Samantabhadra as our teachers, as our guides, that we train and we follow in their footsteps. So we talked about this before, that there are 8 great bodhisattvas who are identifying the aspects of being a human being and how it is that we perfect those aspects and be able to accumulate all these blessings, all these merits and so on, in order to be able to offer them to other beings and so on. So the next, number 2, is the dedication that follows the Buddhas. So first we were talking about the bodhisattvas. Now we're talking about the Buddhas, their dedication. It says, as all the victorious Buddhas of past, present, and future praise dedication as supreme, so now I dedicate all these roots of virtue for all beings to perfect good actions. So this is the past, present, and future that all dissolves into now. That there is no past, present, and future. It's all just now. It's just a mental conceptualization where we say, oh, this is past, this is present, and this is future. But actually, all it is now. So as the victorious Buddhas of the past, present, and future, of those that are now, they don't die. They're always there. They're always omnipresent. They are birthless and they are deathless. And that is within ourselves. That's how we overcome what we have, this fear of our physical death, of our intellectual death. Within us is that spirituality that never dies. And we need to get in tune with that. And that becomes our life force. That is our life force that never dies, that's never actually born. Temporarily we come into this body, but this body gives it up and then we're liberated. And then what do we do with that liberation depends on what we have developed in our lifetime. Are we attached to all these things that come from the physical body, that come from the intellectual mind? And we want that again. We're not ready to be totally liberated. We want another body. It's our choice. Or is our spirituality so developed, so stable, that when we give up this body and our spirit is released, can we remain that way? Can we remain a Buddha? Can we remain a holy being all the time? And not manifest again in physical form. If we do manifest in physical form, then we do it for the benefit of other beings. That we're doing it to purify things that maybe we weren't able to stabilize, and that's why we weren't able to remain as pure spirit? Or was our mission to continue to help other beings, and that we hold off from our final liberation for the benefit of other beings? This is the mission of the Bodhisattvas. So the Buddhas are the perfected when the Bodhisattvas have given that up. And they say, I'm just going to be like the sun. So now I dedicate these roots of virtue, the roots of virtue, the very essence of virtue, for all beings to perfect their good actions. So just like the sun is radiating that light, the Buddhas are radiating that virtue, that goodness. So number 3 is the dedication towards actualizing the result. The dedication towards actualizing the result. I want this result. How do I actualize it? So here it's being said. It says, when it is time for me to die, when I give up my physical body and intellect, etc., when it's time for me to die, let all that obscures me fade away. All those blockages, all those obstructions, all those emotions, all those mental misconceptions, all the habitual tendencies that I haven't purified, all that obscures me, may they fade away when I die. I look at Amitabha there in person and go at once to his pure land of Sukhavati. So this is the Bardo Total. This is talking about the transference of consciousness, that when we die, that we eject our spirituality, our spiritual body that we've had with us since the moment of our conception. We eject that, and we learned how to do that. We practice that. That's called the POA, the transference of consciousness. And we are ejecting it to the Buddha, to the Buddha field, to the Buddha nature of the Buddha Amitabha. Amitabha is one of the great meditational deities that we learn about. And he is the wisdom of discriminating awareness. The wisdom of discriminating awareness, that we are deciding what it is that we need to focus on, what it is that we need to do. Some things as human beings, some things we need to take care of right now. Some things we can take and we can put them on the margins and we can say, I'll come back to that. It's not important. I need to concentrate on this right now. And then there's something else that comes after that, and we know where to be able to place that and so on. We bring that which we marginalize, we bring that back. So right now, today, at these couple hours that we spent together, we say, well, I'm not going to be paying attention to my phone. I'm not going to be paying attention to the news. I'm not going to be paying attention to other beings, coming into my midst or anything like that. I'm only focused on my spiritual practice that we've said that we're going to do at this time today. So this is a function of that wisdom of discriminating awareness. And then whatever it is that we learn, whatever that we experience, we're taking that, we're making it apply to everything else that we do. We're learning from it, we're assimilating it, and we become the embodiment of that. This is to perfect our good actions. This is the pure land of Sukhavati. Sukhavati is the pure land of Buddha Amitabha, this wisdom of discriminating awareness. So when we can be aware of all these things and stabilize that and not have the interference or the obstructions that are coming at us that pull us away from that mindfulness, we can say that we are in that Buddha field of Sukhavati, however much we can stabilize that. If we get knocked off balance, we get pulled away by something that's happening, that our attention is drawn back, that we have the power to bring back and stabilize our Buddha field of Sukhavati. And that we can do these mundane things within that Buddha field of Sukhavati and be able to apply the wisdom and the skillful means of that discriminating wisdom in Sukhavati, we're able to apply it in the mundane world. So when it's time for me to die, let all that obscures me fade away. So I look at Amitabha there in person. I'm seeing that not with my eyes, but seeing it with my heart, seeing it with my big mind, my true nature, that Buddha within myself, seeing that I am Amitabha. And not that Amitabha looks like me or Amitabha looks like you. Amitabha is a state of mind, is a state of mind that is our heart mind. In that pure land, may I actualize every single one of all these applications. So what I was saying, all these different good deeds and all this stuff, that's what we are doing. We are applying this. We are actualizing every single one of these aspirations. The aspirations are our desires, our elevated desires to want to be able to have this virtue and bring this virtue for all beings. May I fulfill them, each and every one, and bring help to beings for as long as the universe remains. That this is my solar system. This is my Buddha field. This is what I do as the sun, and it will continue and continue until the universe remains. Is the universe just another concept? Just a figment of our imaginations, just the appearance of what it is as a human being to be able to see what we call the universe? Is that just something that we have conventionally agreed to say that's what this is? And we're constantly searching for the Big Bang. We're searching for the source. We're searching for the essence of it. And these scientists are spending their lifetimes doing this, and they're spending incredible amounts of money and incredible amounts of effort to do all of this, when actually the answer is within ourselves. Because all this is just, as I said, it is a fabrication of our imagination of what we've created this, and we just agree that this is what it is, So it's seeing it from another point of view. It's seeing from the point of view of an enlightened being who sees this as a spiritual experience rather than a physical, intellectual experience. We are three bodies. We are a physical body, we are an intellectual body, we are a spiritual body. So as long as the universe remains, when we become Buddha, universe goes away as a concept. It just becomes whatever it is, but as a human being, as an ordinary human being, we can't conceive of what it is. We can't hold what it is. We can experience that beyond the human, or beyond the concept of the universe. We can experience that. But when we come back to our ordinary mind, after we have that meditative experience, we have that sense of that experience of that liberation, but there's no way to convey it except to say, I love everything. I love everybody. Everybody is me. I am everybody. I have love and compassion for the suffering of those who don't realize that. But for those that do realize that, the bliss, there's nothing I need to do for them. They're already realized. So my work is with those who are still suffering. So then number 4 is the dedication towards receiving a prophecy from the Buddhas. Receiving a prophecy from the Buddhas. What is this? We have this experience. We get this experience, this Buddha experience. Now, what's the prophecy of that? What is the future of that? It says, born there in a beautiful lotus flower, in that excellent and joyous Buddha realm, may the Buddha Amitabha himself grant me the prophecy foretelling my enlightenment. So as we have this experience, as we go through each meditation that we go through, is an experience of doing that. We're perfecting that. It's a rehearsal for our final liberation when this physical body dies, with the intellect going along with it, and our pure spirit is all that there is. What is that? Where does that go? And Amitabha himself says, may Buddha Amitabha, the wisdom of discriminating awareness, may he grant us the prophecy for telling my enlightenment. So each time that we're doing that and we're rehearsing this poa, we're rehearsing this process of ejection of our consciousness that we're learning from Amitabha and the other Buddhas. So born there in a beautiful lotus flower, you notice that all the different Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all the different icons that we talk about that are on a lotus pedestal, that are on a lotus flower. And it's symbolic that we are being born from that purity. Born from that purity, that the essence of that purity was defilement that got purified. This is the human experience. The whole thing is a human experience. So they're on a beautiful lotus flower. So we think of ourselves as being reborn on this lotus flower in that excellent and joyous Buddha realm. So we enter into a meditation center as a being who has experience, etc., and so on. But then we go into this meditation, we have this other experience now. That person that entered into it is gone. Now has the benefit of this new experience, and it's transformative. So whatever was here now becomes more purified in this new experience. And that's what we take with us as the result when we get up off the cushion, that we take that new experience with us. We take a new being with us. So if we enter with the lance here, we have the experience. Now we're a new lance, and now we take that new lance out into what we continue to do for some time until we have another purification experience. So each one of those purifications is closer and closer and closer to the virtue of becoming Buddha. So in that excellent and joyous realm, may the Buddha Amitabha himself grant me the prophecy for telling my enlightenment. How do we do that? For telling my enlightenment. How do I do that? What are the things that are holding me back? What are the emotions that I keep clinging to? What are the mental misconceptions that I keep holding on to? The wisdom, the arrogance of my wisdom, that I think I'm right all the time. And the habitual tendencies that I have. By overcoming those, by transforming those, by neutralizing those things, that's foretelling my enlightenment. That's what's holding me back. And knowing how to overcome that is foretelling my enlightenment. It's both sides of that, being on the path. So then the fifth element here is the dedication towards serving others. So having received the prophecy there, with my billions of emanations sent out through the power of my mind, may I bring enormous benefit to sentient beings in all the 10 directions. So having received the prophecy there, so now I've realized I can see what it is that's holding me back, but I can also see my liberation. I can also see that, and I can maintain and stabilize that with my billions of emanation. Countless rays are coming from my mind, my big mind, my heart mind, not this mind, but this, that it becomes everywhere. Through the power of my mind, may I bring enormous benefit to sentient beings in all the 10 directions. So the 10 directions are the 4 cardinal directions of the compass: the east, the south, the west, the north, and then the intermediate: the southeast, the southwest, the northwest, the northwest, and the northeast. Those are 8, and then up and down. Those are the 10 directions. So basically what it's saying is a sphere, that everything is going out in a spherical, direction. you all equally. So, with my billions of emanations sent out through the power of my mind to enormous benefit to sentient beings in all the 10 directions. So all this is going out. The sun is radiating in all directions. The sun is a great big sphere. So it's a symbol, or it's an illustration, it's a metaphor, that we see in our lives of what this is like. No boundaries. Going out to all sentient beings to help all sentient beings with compassion and with the wisdom. The compassion is the light, is the coming out and the landing of the light on beings, on that which becomes illuminated. The radiance is the radiance of the sun that is going out. The luminance is when it lands on something and that light it just kind of explodes and reveals what was darkness before. That's the luminous. Anybody have any questions or comments about what we've just been talking about?
Thank you. That's all I can say.
You're welcome. Thank you. So, John, I saw your head rattling about. Was that making sense to you? Was that stuff that you have either heard before or thought of, or hearing it for the first time?
So, forming my own kind of spirituality for like 3 years now, and I believe very heavily in and expressing abundance. And what I really appreciate about Vajrayana Buddhism is that it is a true abundant mindset where you have all of the power that you need already within you, and it is about expressing it to others for true spiritual liberation in just the most extreme ways that make you feel so but in your own right. I think that's what really attracts me to this way of life. I don't know if I'm making sense, but
That's very good. That's very good. Yes. Very
the
good. Well, thank you. And at the end of this, when we're finished this session, if you and I can take a couple minutes, there's an adjustment for your microphone in the Zoom setup, because your microphone is voice activated. So there's a space where we don't hear half of the sentence that you say, because the voice activation takes like a second to activate. And so that needs to be adjusted so we can hear you better. Anybody else have any comment about what we've been talking about here with this dedication part? Because this is very important. All right.
Lance, Manjushri is the deity of compassion.
Manjushri is the bodhisattva of wisdom.
Wisdom. Okay, sorry. I have a notepad. I write all the deities down like on Rolodex.
Yeah.
So I can just, go to it and just continue to memorize. So it just pops up faster.
Good. Yeah. And having the their pictures, the illustrations of them is very, very helpful. So there's a number of books that have these illustrations in them. There's one book, let me see here, called Images of Enlightenment, Tibetan Art and Practice. And this is a very good book. It doesn't have every single one of the images, but it's got a lot of them. But in addition to the images, it has explanation of the image, very, very good explanation of each of those images. So this would be a good book to have if you're interested in being able to understand the iconography of Tibetan Buddhism. which is the iconography is just symbolic of those concepts, ideas that we need to be able to understand and purify within ourselves.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right, well, then we're going to leave here and come back to the conclusion part next time. So, so as you can tell, John, we've been all through this and we're almost at the end of this, but we try and make this, give you a context to understand what we're doing. Okay, so the next part, so all the sessions that we do and all the sessions that you would do at home as you do a study practice or a study session, or you do a practice session, whatever, there's three parts to it. The first part is setting your motivation, which is the opening prayers, remembering why we're doing this. Then the next part is the big part, which is the study, the reading, the contemplation, doing the meditation practice, whatever it is, that's the main part. And then the third part is the end, is this important part, this dedication part. And that's what we were just reading about. That's what we were just saying here in the good actions, that there needs to be this dedication for the benefit of others. If we don't do that, we're selfishly holding on to that. Oh, this makes me great. Oh, I don't need to share this. This is wonderful. I'm going to keep this, and this is going to make me better than everybody else. But instead, we're saying, no, I have to dedicate this to other beings. And this becomes an action, a virtue that overcomes our ego. Our ego wants to hold on to things, wants to be greedy with that, and develops pride out of that. So that's the third part. So we need to do the dedication. So we go back to our prayer books, and we'll go to the dedication prayer by Lord Jigden Sumgun. Jigden Sumgun is the founder of this lineage that we belong to, the Drikung Kagyu, which we'll talk about another time. But this is the dedication prayer that he composed for us to be able to recite. So this prayer is over 800 years old. So we recite the English translation. Glorious, holy, venerable, precious kind root and lineage lamas, divine assembly of yidams and assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, yogins, yoginis, and dakinis, dwelling in the 10 directions, please hear my prayer. May the virtues collected in the 3 times by myself and all sentient beings in samsara and nirvana, and the innate word of virtue, not result in the 8 worldly concerns, the 4 causes of samsara, or rebirth as a Sravaka or Pratyeka Buddha. May all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors who harm, misleading Maras and the hordes of demons, experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May attachment to fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and through that may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise even at the time of my death. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of the mind as such and the pervading clarity of Dharmata. May I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo. Om. Ah, Hum. Om, Ah, Hum. Om, Ah, Hum. May my body, speech, and mind become inseparable with the body, speech, and mind of all the enlightened ones for the benefit of all sentient beings. Thank you all very, very much.